Yes. I just wanted to make mention that I don't know where my sons are at. They were taken from me 7 years ago on July 2nd of 2011. And however I might be connected to them, you might think, well, it must be technology. Is it the genetics of myself and themselves? Is there an actual concern that I have as a father? Now, when I know that the law is being violated and it's causing me to not be able to be with them, there are multiple reasons why a father would want to reside with their children. Yes. Now, I know that this mortgage that is paid to you, the mortgage interest paid by you, yeah, acquisition or abandonment of secured property, cancellation of debt, qualified tuition program payments under Section 529. The IRAs, the Coverdale educational savings accounts, yes. The Archer medical savings accounts or the health savings accounts, contributions or distributions and pension distributions. You have to give your correct tax ID number, but you do not have to sign the certification. Yeah. Now, a lot of those in the family think they're owed more interest than what they've actually been paying on their mortgages. So, if you could go through the actual tax returns of oaths, badges, attorneys, mandatory reporters, those that are involved in the child protective services and those in welfare, as well as civil rights coordinators and every superintendent and principal of every school. I'd like to know what their actual principal payment was and interest, and then what they reported on their tax returns. See, the family has this problem with taxation. They have no problem helping themselves to any sort of tax deductions, and maybe you added a few extra $1,000, thinking that, well, the IRS doesn't ever cross-reference these different tax deductions with the actual. Well, give me the last 20 years of mortgage payments for every person that has a professional or a legal liability for the enforcement of child kidnapping and abduction laws. Yes, give me their actual payments that they have deducted the interest on. Well, let's say that you're in the family and you just have this thing about taxation. You just hate it. It's one of those things that I'm tired of the government getting my money because I work so hard at earning it myself. So you just help yourself to a few extra $1,000 worth of mortgage interest deduction, knowing that no one in the IRS has any concern about the actual. You would think that you couldn't cheat on the tax deductible interest that you've been claiming on your personal income taxes for the last 20 years, considering the sophistication of the computer system that the IRS owns. But there's a possibility, okay, that you've been evading income taxes because you're so cheap. Now, as much as you dislike the thought of me suing you for violating any sort of tax why am I connected to my sons? Now, this cancellation of debt, promissory notes, is that what you were doing? Well, you were getting paid interest. Yes. It was a business expense. You've been using some very creative financing. Yeah. Abandonment or secured property. Did you buy some property and abandoned it in the eminent domain? You just walked away from it and called it a loss while still having control of it. I don't know the actual requirements for taking property. Let's say you decided that you would buy a nice piece of property for $100,000 and then it was a complete bust for you. Yeah. You wrote the whole thing off, $100,000 loss. As an investment loss? Did you? Just, just look through the.